Well, whether she wanted to be or not, Brittany Maynard became the face of the choosing when to die movement. As you may recall, Brittany was just 29 years old, diagnosed with glioblastoma 4, terminal brain cancer. Given just 6 months to live, Brittany came to the decision she wanted to die when she said and on her terms. Brittany did just that after moving to Oregon, one of only 5 states that gives patients the right to die. Now, Brittany's story certainly brought to light some of the painful and difficult decisions that some with glioblastoma have to endure.
Now, she was not the first person with the brain cancer diagnosis, and she will unfortunately not be the last. But there is now hope in the fight against the disease, and it comes in a form you would least expect. CBS's Stephanie Stahl has the story.
She always says, "Are you going to cry?" I'm going to say, "No." "Are you going to cry?" And she does.
This Cape May mother and daughter have done a lot of crying and laughing since 28-year-old Genny Robinson was diagnosed with glioblastoma, a deadly brain cancer, 2 years ago.
I was really scared.
Newlyweds Genny, who's a teaching aide, had just gotten engaged to Will, an Avalon police officer.
You think about the happiest time of your life is going to be you getting engaged and getting married, and you get devastating news only 2 weeks after. You have one of the best moments in your life.
She asked me in the hospital, "Mom, am I going to die?" And I said, "No, you are not going to die."
Genny had brain surgery, radiation, and chemo in Philadelphia. When the tumor came back, the family turned to the Brain Tumor Center at Duke University.
We were reaching out to try to figure out what her best options were.
Duke's website describes its experiment with a modified polio virus. On YouTube, you can see the devastating effects polio had on millions before there was a vaccine. But the virus is now being used to ignite the immune system to kill cancer tumors. This is Genny in December, getting a teaspoon of the polio virus dripped slowly, directly into her brain tumor.
Was it scary?
Yeah, really scary.
Initially, I was like, wow, I mean, you think of polio as a disease that cripples people.
You felt there were no other options?
No, not to prolong my life as long as I think this is going to.
So far, it's working. Doctors have told Genny her tumor is shrinking.
You love Duke.
I do love Duke University.
They've become enthusiastic Duke fans. They even named their dog Duke, and they're making plans for the future, including children and
Grandchildren?
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to be here for a long time.
God has her in his hands, and he's taking good care of her.
So as in that last case, treating glioblastomas can be very difficult. Sandy Hilburn says her whole left side stopped working when she was diagnosed with brain cancer. Doctors told her she only had months to live. That was 9 years ago.
I've got all these new grandchildren. It is a gift. I'm so lucky.
The secret to her success so far, she says, was a tetanus shot used to prime her immune system for the treatment.
We might be able to use that tetanus shot to sort of precondition the vaccine site. And when we did that, we were able to dramatically enhance the effect of the vaccine.
Researchers looked at 12 patients. The half that received the tetanus shot lived at least 5 years. They add the patients tolerated the treatment extremely well, and there were little side effects.
Another new technology possibly giving brain cancer patients a second chance is this. It's a tiny catheter with small radioactive fat particles inserted directly into the brain tumor. This patient, David Williams, is the first human to try the treatment. David was diagnosed with glioblastoma last year. Doctors tried both removing the tumor and 6 weeks of chemotherapy, but the tumor came back. David says since his latest treatment, he feels great, and doctors say so far he's exceeding their expectations.
Okay, so what is a glioblastoma? Well, according to the American Brain Tumor Association, it's a large brain tumor that's found in the cerebral hemispheres of the brain, but can't be found anywhere in the brain or the spinal cord. The tumors are usually highly malignant because they reproduce so quickly and are supported by a large network of blood vessels. The ABTA adds because glioblastomas can grow rapidly, the most common symptoms are usually caused by increased pressure in the brain. These symptoms can include headache, nausea, vomiting, and drowsiness. And depending on the location of the tumor, patients can develop a variety of other symptoms, such as weakness on one side of the body, memory and/or speech difficulties, and visual changes. Glioblastomas can increase in frequency with age and affect more men than women. Only 3% of childhood brain tumors are glioblastomas. As for the survival rates, The median survival for adults is about 2 to 3 years, and in children with high-grade tumors tend to do better than adults and have a 5-year survival rate about 25% of the time. Now, along the lines of our health, we're all looking to protect ourselves and our families from the gunk that's making its way around. But what about your dog? Up next, we're going to learn just how prevalent the dog flu is, how to spot the illness, and what you can do to prevent your pets from getting it in the first place.
And we hear what some pets are doing to help kids feel better. Find out how Gus here is helping a little girl to feel herself again. Plus, find out the science behind pet therapy.
And a little later on, they say music is therapy. Stick around, because a little later on, Dirt Road Outlaws takes the Dumb Arm Life stage. We'll be right back.